All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. It is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening. Today, we are on back on the clock here for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins for picks number 20 and 21. The last day of our double duty before we come back Sunday. We will be back Sunday afternoon or Sunday. We'll post the time, but we will be back Sunday. So it's going to be the last day today, and then we'll be back Sunday to resume the draft. Hopefully, everybody's having a wonderful day. As always, I am your good old boy, JR, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. As always, on Instagram Live. Brandon joining us, as always, as he's been doing for the last now, 2, 3 years now for this wonderful time of the year?
Since what, 2022?
Nah, even more than that, I think. I think it was 21.
Might have been.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. But either way, we're always happy to have you, man. We can always count on you to be here. But it is go time. It is picks number 20 and 21. And as always, Brandon, I got to ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
I'm good. And we already have our first comment on the day on the Instagram live page from Muddy Akbar. What y'all think about the Texans? So, yeah, I think it's a little, I think we have a little time for discussion before we get into the Steelers and the Dolphins. So, for the people that don't know, Sean McDermott has took it within himself to no longer be concerned that Stephon Diggs is going to be in camp here because he is officially. So, for the people that don't know, the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills have made a deal in place to send Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans will be sending draft pick compensations for the Buffalo Bills to at their disposal for everything. And all this is due to the fact of the Buffalo Bills carrying a $30 million cap hit to trade him. So, Brandon, your first reaction when this news dropped earlier this afternoon?
My first reaction was the tweet that Stephon Diggs saw last night and was like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Like that. And the moment that I saw that tweet, I'm like, "Yep, he's gone." I was like, "Yep, he's gone." Whoever tweeted that, Buffalo is gonna be throwing fucking bricks at his house for the next just the next 10 to 20 years. Just a bunch of bricks. Oh, you're trying to fuck him up. I see it already. Well, he better go to a game. He better not.
Yeah, it's best to probably just avoid it, hide out for a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should do what the Chicago Cubs fan did when he caught the foul ball, but it was actually in play. Like, you should probably do what he did. Just stay in the house. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Come out.
Yeah.
Because you literally tweeted Josh Allen is good with Stephon Diggs. Yes, but how essential is Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen? He's not. If Stephon Diggs saw that tweet, he was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And the next thing you know, Stephon Diggs is now traded to the Houston Texans. By the way, Houston, you get Tank Dell back. We ain't talking about Houston because they pretty much have no first round pick anymore.
They're fine. But we are going to talk about them in a few days. We're going to talk about them on Monday, I believe. No. We're talking about them because it goes Eagles and then Houston. So we're going to talk to them about Monday.
Yeah, 23rd. But yeah, like kudos to the freaking Texans for getting Stephon Diggs. That is just amazing. Like, you added him to Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon, who they just added as well, and through a trade. And you got still Nico Collins, and you still got Tank Dell coming back. And that defense is improving. We might have to rethink this goddamn AFC South. We might have to rethink the AFC South. We might have to rethink the AFC. This is different. If a Buffalo, congratulations, you just fell into the AFC East despair. I don't know what the hell to tell you. That was a stupid move. You lost not just Stephon Diggs, but also Gabriel Davis. You lost 2 receivers. Your top receivers, they're gone.
I don't know what pick Buffalo has, but I'm pretty sure I know where they're going to go. I'm pretty sure I know where they have to go. my think about it is this. I think it was you saw the relationship going where it was going, you know. And this, and honestly, listen, Stephon Diggs has a big part to play in it as well because
Oh yeah.
he had problems in Minnesota, and now he has problems in Buffalo. Um, different type of reasons, but reasons within itself, right? Like just reasons within itself. My thing about this whole thing and my thing about the whole trade was it was a trade that needed to be done, honestly, because I don't think Stephon Diggs could have given anything more to Buffalo because Stephon Diggs has shown his frustration already. He pretty much went. We got to go a little bit back. We got to go to the divisional playoff game. Cincinnati, Buffalo. Cincinnati's on the road. They have to go to Buffalo. And we're kind of thinking, well, I mean, this whole line's kind of banged up. Buffalo should kind of, take this at ease and, maybe they have a shot. And it was a total opposite. You would have thought that Buffalo traveled to Buffalo to play the Cincinnati Bengals at Buffalo. And you could just tell immediately there was already something was happening. The cracks were starting to show a little bit. Stephon Diggs was yelling at Josh Allen not responding in any way, which is good on him, but do anything to kind of assert his authority as a quarterback. So that's the first thing. We move forward to the beginning of offseason programs. Immediately, Stephon Diggs, I don't know who reported it, but Stephon Diggs came out and said, listen, we're running the same play again, running the same tree again. We're not going to get bet. We have to change something. He voiced his opinions at the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator says, no, we're going to run it my way. And boy, did they. So well that he got fired midway through the season this year.
Midway through the damn season.
But that's not even the important part. The important part was Sean McDermott came out in the podium the very first day of offseason programs. And a reporter, bless his heart, asked him, is there any sort of concern or anything that you want to say about Stephon Diggs not being here? I am very concerned. That was the words, and I quote of Sean McDermott. I am very concerned that he is not here. I'm like, wow, this is a relation. When I heard that, I'm like, this is a divorce just waiting for the final signature. We got the final signature today. Sean McDermott made, and the coach and the general manager made a decision today. Even though it's going to carry $30 million in dead cap, this is a marriage that has to end. And here's the worst part about it. The word is the report came out. They didn't even tell Josh Allen that they were going to it. Josh Allen found out that Stephon Diggs got traded like me and you found out he got traded. Imagine they tell you you're the franchise quarterback. We're going to get rid of your best offensive weapon, and we're not even going to tell you.
Now, we're going to get rid of both of your best offensive weapons.
So now you have to figure on the roster, Curtis Samuel. I keep forgetting his name. Shalik Tahor. Tahor. Shakir.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I can't even tell you the other two wide receivers.
That's not good. That's not good.
Here's my issue with this. Stephon and the Buffalo Bills staff, Stephon, listen, the first time, I'm willing to believe you. The second time, I'm willing to believe you have TOism. Great talent. There's just something there. That should be telling that they're willing to take a $30 million cap hit to trade you and not even get a first rounder. They wanted you out of the locker room. So that's one thing. But it's another thing. How careless are you? The fact that you thought you were going to trade him and you made no attempts, none, to try to get a wide receiver other than Curtis Samuel in free agency. How dare you, Buffalo?
I truly believe it goes back to what I said. the tweet last night. I think that's what really broke the back. I think him saying, "Oh, you really think Josh Allen can do this shit without me?" Okay, we gonna see. And I think they saw that, and they probably called him and was like, "Hey, what are you talking about? What's going on? Why are you responding to a tweet?" And he was like, "No, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of y'all thinking that I'm not this offense. Like Josh Allen could do this shit without me." And it came and they were like, "Well, probably listen. Like, we know how important you are to this offense. Oh, really? You know how important I am? Okay, then get me off this fucking team. And let's see what you can really do without me." Because because it's like you just said, like there's no way in hell you sat there and knew you were gonna trade him with no fucking compensation back. You didn't get Nico Collins, Tank Dell, nobody. And then when you go, and I get that you didn't have the necessary cap space to get a receiver, but you're telling me you couldn't get Hollywood Brown?
You're telling me you couldn't trade it for Deontay Johnson? You're telling me that you still couldn't get Brandon Ayuk on his rookie deal?
You couldn't get Calvin Ridley as much as that motherfucker getting paid in Tennessee. He don't want to be in no fucking Tennessee. He ain't a quarterback. You tell me you couldn't get Calvin Ridley?
The only reason Calvin really chose Tennessee was because Tennessee was willing to throw him the money.
And they're stupid. But like you couldn't get anyone? That is shocking.
You're telling me that you couldn't try for Hunter Renfrow? You're telling me that you didn't try for a Michael Thomas? You're telling me that you couldn't try?
And maybe we find out later on. You telling me you didn't call the Chargers and see if you can get Keenan Allen?
You didn't try for Mike Williams?
You let all of these players walk during this offseason, and you just kept Stephon with the thought process you might have to trade him regardless? Nah. I really do think it was a spur of the moment type of feeling. Yes, you have been putting up with Stephon Diggs for what, a year and a half now, 2 years maybe?
3 years.
You've been putting up with
3 years.
3 years. But you've been putting up with this shit for a while. So you kind of could deal with his mood swings. You're like, it is what it is. I don't really give a shit. It really has been, I think he really is like, yo, I don't want to be here. And I'm telling y'all, doing a tweet, you really think Josh Allen is important more than me? Okay, let me to get the fuck out of here. Let's see. And if that is true, that Josh Allen did not learn until the moment that we found out, franchise quarterback, huh? Top tier quarterback, huh?
Because, Brandon, if I'm wrong, if you're a franchise quarterback, you would think, whether you like it or not, they would have to go through you to talk to you first, right? You don't think that Andy Reid and the general manager of Kansas City went to Patrick Mahomes like, hey, you're not going to like this, but we're going to have to trade Tyreek Hill. We can't. You might not like it, but we're going to get a huge compensation for it.
People don't understand. Like, yes, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen probably have not been on the same page for a while now. But if you don't tell your fucking quarterback, hey, man, listen, I don't really know what your relationship is, and I don't really care. We got to trade this kid. We got to trade him. Give him something. The fact that you didn't say shit to him, what the fuck do y'all think this dude is doing? Like, y'all realize how bad this is about to be for you this season, right? You're going to draft a bunch of receivers in this draft because now it's kind of obvious you got to go offense in this draft, which makes it even worse.
And I just got done doing theirs during my break, like doing the notes, and then I saw the news and I'm like, well, go back to the drawing board.
As soon as it hit my phone, I was like, holy shit. Because this is how crazy this is. We knew Stephon was getting traded.
Everybody, now I want everybody to. I want everybody who commented, and I said, well, we might be high out of our mind, but damn, our mind is good. It's just, again, it was a relationship. Here's the thing.
A year before, a year later, that's kind of how it was. We were like, oh, they're going to trade Stephon Diggs during his offseason. And it literally waited a year, and we were like, yeah, Stephon Diggs still getting traded. And he got traded. It just happens.
And it's, for me, looking outside in, it looked like a relationship. It felt like you being a homie have to go to your homie and be like, hey, she ain't good for you, bro. Or hey, you go to your homegirl like, hey, he gonna bring you down. You got to move on, baby. You got to move on.
First of all, I want to say this. See, this is how you get a weapon. The Buffalo fucked up. We live in Buffalo with Buffalo at. C.J. Stroud, his second year, he already proved with Nico Collins and some dudes, he can get it done. You just gave this man Stephon fucking Diggs, and if he is ready to go, and if he is still Stephon Diggs, good fucking luck to the AFC. I feel like good fucking luck. This is not going to.
And we got to play them this year too. And I think they're coming here.
I'm flying back out to Vegas.
Man, this is gonna suck. Like, oh man. It's just CJ. I don't think people know it yet, but CJ Stroud, if he continues to go upward, he is money attraction. He is attraction.
And here, people that don't understand, like, this is what you do when you have a franchise quarterback. You give him a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, but Baker Mayfield, people forget he got Jarvis Landry, who was already there. Then he got Odell Beckham.
I think for the sake of argument, both can be wrong. Neither was right on how they handled this situation. But it was time. And I'll leave it at that. It was time. And I'll leave it at that. That it was time for both sides to just split.
Boy, does that not tell Josh Allen something? Because Josh Allen, these fans of Buffalo kept saying, you were the man. You're the reason for the offense.
Listen,
well,
I've always had this thing. When you sign a contract of that magnitude, doesn't matter the player. Aaron Donald, Max.
You know why?
And it's the same thing, my experience, when we gave Derek Carr that contract, and I always talk shit about Carr, and people were like, well, dude, look at his defense. Hey, listen to me. Who signed the contract? Did the whole defense sign his contract? He's got to step, because when you sign that type of contract, you're saying, I'm the man to get us out in any situation. You better prove it.
And I need people to understand something. I saw Lamar Jackson with no weapons. He still got himself first. He got himself first team. I've seen Patrick Mahomes with no weapons. He won a Super Bowl this year. You better do
People are going to look at this and be like, he had Isaiah Pacheco and Travis Kelce. Yes, the ageless Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco.
He had Taylor Swift dude and a guy from Rutgers. And he still won the fucking Super Bowl.
Who transferred to Kentucky. And was 4 or 5 picks away from being an undrafted free agent. Shut the hell up. Okay? Tell me who his receivers were. And then we'll go from there.
But Josh Allen, this is what you wanted. I don't think this is what Josh Allen wanted because I think he knows how important Stephon Diggs is.
You're the man. No. Here's the thing. When it comes to Buffalo Bills fans or Bills Mafia this year, no. He's the man. That's the contract he wants to live up to. He earned that contract, right? Okay. Because his first 2 years, his first year, he couldn't even get over 3,000 yards. And the second year, he barely got over 3,000 yards. So, this is the man, right? Okay, we're about to find out. We all that talk about him he got robbed of MVP this year. All right. Because Lamar Jackson did it with receivers that were left for dead and one rookie named Zay Flowers. So, keep it as you wish. So, whatever. But anyway, let's get to the real reason why we're here. The Pittsburgh Steelers are officially on the clock. It's go time, Brandon. And Brandon, When I tell you that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been having one of the craziest off seasons you can ever imagine, it is so great. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Matt Canada's offense ranked 28th this year. 28th. I'm not going to say the Steelers' offense. That was Matt Canada's offense because 28th. 28th. But they had the sixth best defense, which is great. It shows you when you have an elite defense what it can do for you. What it can do for you. Now, Kenny Pickett led the team in throwing, 2,070 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Najee Harris took a little while, but he finally came on. Leading the team in rushing with 1,035 yards, back-to-back 1,000 yards, and 8 touchdowns. George Pickens, they finally saw him and say, oh, he can actually play wide receiver. Yes, he can. He was supposed to be slated in the first round when he came out of the draft, but because there's only 32 teams, unfortunately, he fell in the second. And you got lucky. George Pickens finished the year with 63 receptions, 1,140 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, all of these players and everything, this is where I have to kind of commend Mike Tomlin for doing what he did. So he fired Matt Canada. Fired him. I condemn him for that. What I condemn him for more is knowing that Kenny Pickett was never going to work out in Pittsburgh. Was never going to work out in Pittsburgh. And why am I saying that? This is why I'm saying it. Knowing what we know now, and knowing how we talked about it, how we felt, there should not have been a quarterback taken in the first round.
I don't think we took one, did we?
I don't remember.
I took Malik Willis from Pittsburgh. I remember that. Because I was like, Malik Willis fits Pittsburgh.
I don't know if I did or not. I'll look back, but I'll be surprised if I did. If anything, I probably put Hendon Hooker to Detroit or something.
No, you didn't take a quarterback either. I took a quarterback. I took one, and that was it.
I don't know if I did or not. I'm not really sure.
You didn't take a quarterback at all.
I'll have to look back. But if I didn't, there's a reason why I didn't feel like there was a quarterback in this draft class because, well, here you go. But I will applaud the Pittsburgh Steelers doing something that they didn't do for Buffalo when they had Josh Allen, knowing that it was never going to work. It's only going to work if you're going to add this. But knowing what we know now, Kenny Pickett fucked this up. And let me tell you how he fucked this up. He got traded. Originally, he was supposed to get cut. But they traded him to Philadelphia to now be the backup to Jalen Hurts. Knowing what we know now, I think Kenny Pickett, 1, was not ready to be a first rounder, looking at his attitude. And 2, I've never heard of a more self-entitled answer in the history that I've been doing this. He literally said, in a way that I can't believe they traded me. Don't care. Doesn't matter. That right there. And that's the day he went to Philadelphia, got to the podium, said what he said to the reporter. And I couldn't believe it. If that's how he was acting as a starter, if that's how he's acting as a backup in Philly, how the hell was he acting as a starter in Pittsburgh? And Mike Tomlin, I applaud him for not taking that shit. I applaud him for knowing, hey, we wasted a first rounder. He has to look in the eyes of TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, George Pickens, Najee Harris. He has to look at those guys in the eye and say,
Casey Hayward. Yep.
Casey Hayward, he has to look at them in the eye and say, I wasted a year for you. I wasted a year. Or I wasted a first rounder. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Brandon, your thoughts on this whole Kenny Pickett thing?
He was never supposed to be Pittsburgh starting quarterback. I mean, here's the thing about them not taking Dan Marino. They fucked up. they misjudged what and who he was and what he could have been for Pittsburgh.
Hey, listen, it wasn't just him. It was a lot of other teams.
It was a lot of fucking people. But they took what they went for a necessary need and not the future. And it's okay. A lot of teams do it in the draft. That's why a lot of people look for the necessary need, which turned into like a luxury pick, to maybe actually finding someone that can actually be what the future is. It's understandable. It's the goddamn draft. But Kenny Pickett had none of those qualities that Dan Marino had. None of those fucking qualities. He didn't have the arm strength. He didn't have the deep throwing ability. He didn't have any of that shit. You drafted a kid because he just played at Pittsburgh. And you felt like you did enough to scout him and know what he was going to do when he got in the league. That draft was a terrible draft for quarterbacks. It wasn't good. Just wasn't. The only quarterback that is even somewhat relevant as a player is Brock Purdy. That tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. Who was the last?
And even yet, people still have questions about it.
And we got questions about him. Like it's that tells you a lot. Like that entire draft was like, fuck. We don't know who we're picking, but we know this is not going to end well for somebody. Pittsburgh took a quarterback because they felt like they needed to.
And I can understand that emotion. Big Ben just retired. You feel like you're close. You feel like you're there.
Yeah, you felt like you knew Mason Rudolph wasn't the answer, so you knew you had to get a quarterback. If you probably drafted Kenny Pickett in the second, third round, this wouldn't be such a collapse, like a complete and utter collapse and a failure. Because you'd be like, it was a third rounder. Who gives a shit? But the fact that you drafted him in the first fucking round with the 20th pick, when you look at that draft now and say who could have been picked that year, yeah, you kind of like, shit, that wasn't a good. You could have took George Pickens. You could have took George Pickens with the 20th pick and got Kenny Pickett in the second round. You could have just swapped the fucking picks.
I think it has to do more a lot of, obviously, emotion is a motherfucker. You agree? Emotion and vulnerability is a motherfucker, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that includes everything: life, work, relationships, professional sports. Why?
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with human emotions, and you sometimes there is a little vulnerability to it. We just lost Big Ben, who's been our constant for almost a decade and some change, a decade and a half and some change, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, there's this little sense of a hole of, man, we
2 decades.
like, damn, we need to find a replacement fast, because you don't want to be one of those teams that loses their franchise quarterback and then who knows when, unless you're Green Bay. You know, your next quarterback is whoever you draft. Then unless you're Green Bay, right? Like then you're fine. You know, but but there's only one Green Bay.
Lucky bastards.
Yeah, but there's only one Green Bay, right? The way I look at it and the way I applaud Mike Tomlin, I applaud the Steelers organization for realizing that we messed up. We might have a good thing going, and we can try to make something out of it. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Because on defense, I mean, look at the names I'm about to name you. And Landon Roberts, 101 combined tackles. TJ Watt, 19 sacks. DeMonte Kazee, Alex Highsmith, Patrick Peterson, Levi Wallace, 2 interceptions each. Now, unfortunately, here's the crazy part. Chukwuma Okafor is now headed to New England. Mason Rudolph is heading to Tennessee. And Mitchell Trubisky is going to Buffalo. Here's the crazy thing about it. Here's the crazy thing about it. Pittsburgh signed Patrick Queen away from the ops. The ops, man. So now you're going to see Alex Highsmith and Landon Roberts, Patrick Queen, and TJ Watt all on the field at the same fucking time.
And Casey Hayward just sitting in the middle.
Like,
try it. Please try it.
Like, you can get away from me, but But I dare you to get away from one of these four.
Try it, please try it.
Cordell Patterson, who honestly, I think, and this is why I'm a big fan of this new kickoff rule, because it's players like Cordell Patterson. It's players like him that are going to benefit the most out of it. Because now, all right, we get to see returns now. We get to see returns now. This is going to be dope. This is going to be dope. Now, special teams is a factor. And I know for a long time, who gives a fuck about special teams? All they do is kick a bounce, punt it, or kick a field goal. Who gives a shit about kickoffs? All right. Hey, if you're one of those shitty teams that I know a lot of you fans are, that have shitty fucking special teams, San Francisco, you might want to start thinking, hey, maybe, everybody always says it's only important from player 1 all the way to like 33. After that, everybody else is special teams. All right now. All right. Let's see how you feel about this year. Anyway, Van Jefferson, wide receiver from the Los Angeles Rams, they're now joining Pittsburgh. Here's the kicker. Here's the first kicker. They signed Russell Wilson to a league vet minimum because Denver said, I'd rather pay you $85 million fucking dollars over the next 2 years than to not pay with us. They traded away Kenny Pickett. They traded away Deontay Johnson for Dante Jackson. So now he gets to pair up with Joey Porter Jr. Here's kicker number 2. They traded for Justin Fields. Listen, Brandon, I know you always say this. When you got 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. But I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm going to have to dispute your saying this time because somebody is going to be a fucking starter for this team.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be the fucking starter. And I'm going to be honest with you. Being a backup quarterback for this Pittsburgh Steelers team this year does not look like a bad trade. Overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing everything they can to reclaim the top spot in the AFC North. And so far, I applaud them. Brandon, the floor is yours.
All season has been good. Really, really, really good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got rid of guys that probably was, headaches in the locker room. Deontay Johnson clearly was a headache to a lot of people in the locker room. Kenny Pickett clearly was probably a headache in the locker room. The team that they were shaped like last year just looked like, again, this is a testament to Mike Tomlin being the best head coach probably, ever. You just don't get to the Super Bowl. But if he would have had some of the reins that Andy Reid had, we'd be talking about Mike Tomlin like we were talking about Andy Reid. All Bill Belichick, because this man finds a way to get in the fucking playoffs every fucking year. I've not seen that is unheard of. Like I've never seen a team not lose. Like never have a losing season. 18 years, some shit like that. He's been the coach and he's not had a losing fucking season.
Do you know how hard that is in the NFL?
That is unheard of.
Understand this. Understand how hard that is in professional sports. Any sport. Any sport. To not have a losing season in 18 years. Sure, you might be 500. But to not be under 500 in 18 years. That is Undertaker WrestleMania status. That's what it is.
It really is.
Like, how?
It really is. But the Pittsburgh Steelers as a team constructed, man, and you got to also put into perspective, they got to the playoffs after trading their best offensive lineman.
Kevin Dotson.
Like that is crazy. Like
that is insane.
That's nuts.
Again, I applaud Mike Tomlin as much as the next guy. I do, because nothing but respect. Listen, every time we play the Steelers, I might not like the Steelers, but I respect the fuck out of Mike Tomlin. Because it's like, the man with the headset, I respect. I respect him dearly. And it does hurt when we do beat him sometimes, because it's like, fuck, I respect him so much, but we needed to win too. Like, one of us has to win too.
You forget that you gotta win too. Like shit, I forgot I gotta win too. But this is great.
Like, I'm sorry, man. I respect the fuck out of you, and we'll catch you next time. We'll see you next time. But no, I love it. I love what Pittsburgh did this year. I love what the staff is doing. I love what the front offices are doing. This feels to me, and it might be a little premature. This to me feels like an all-in year for Pittsburgh. It might not look like it because of how the season ended, but I feel like this is an all-in year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe so. It feels that way to me because of who they drafted, who they signed, who they traded for. They're trying to make everything work. I think to me, this feels like Jerry Jones says all in Dallas, and they only do one fucking signing. This feels like an all-in year for me for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's just how I feel about it.
Dallas called a straight to do shit. They just called a straight.
I'm gonna call a spade, Brandon. You know me by now.
Mind their goddamn business and just got a whole straight.
The whole Dallas staff, everybody.
Oh shit! Oh man, start at the top, go down to Mike McCarthy. It's on.
To the custodian at that stadium. Like all of it.
Oh man.
Now, Brandon, your final words before we make a selection here for Pittsburgh?
I'm with you on it. I think it feel like an all-in type of deal. Like you said also, I don't know who's the starting quarterback. To be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't know if it's going to matter. What I do know is this: Pittsburgh's going to probably win regardless. It doesn't matter. They're probably going to win regardless. It doesn't fucking matter. They can literally have Najee Harris and Jared Warren be the fucking running back and quarterback for the rest of the fucking season, and I'm pretty sure they'll still find a way to get the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not putting anything past Mike Tomlin at this point. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I wouldn't put anything past the man. I wouldn't put anything past the
Like, can you believe this? Yeah, I can. It's fucking Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I can fucking believe it.
It's fucking Mike Tomlin. Yeah, of course I fucking believe it. Yes, it's obvious. And he's one of those, like I say all the time, when you know what you coached, you're always going to be successful.
Yeah.
The offense might suck, but that defense, Lord Jesus.
Amp, we're getting close to the Dolphins, my man. Just hang tight for a few more seconds, all right? We're going to get through Pittsburgh, and then we're going to go straight to Miami. So, Brandon, without further ado, well, actually, two things. Who would you want to see the starting quarterback for Pitt? Who do you think is going to get it as we sit here in April? Because none of this matters right now.
Who I think is going to start
Yeah.
is Russell Wilson. Who I think should start is Justin Fields.
I'm actually going to throw in a curveball. I think Justin Fields starts out right. I think Justin Fields starts out right. I just think the potential's there not to see, right?
Yeah, and he's gonna be pissed off to see, like, yeah.
I don't know if Pittsburgh plays Chicago this year, but if they do, can you try to make it week? Can you try and then make Pittsburgh go to Chicago?
I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably go look at the schedule. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably go look at the schedule right after this shit. Be like, let's see who they might play.
Like, let's see how this goes. But Brandon, without further ado, my man, who do you got? Who do you got here?
All right. What is this? The 20th pick, I think.
Number 20.
Yeah. All right. For the 20th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers will select Tyler Guyton, offensive lineman, Oklahoma. I got it. Listen. God damn, do they have to fix that offensive line? I'm sorry. Like, I don't give a shit who starts. That's the one thing you definitely got to fix. I don't give a shit who starts. That offensive line got to be fixed. For all the problems that you had last year, it was the offensive line. They could not fucking work. It didn't work for some times. Like I said, you traded your best offensive lineman in the middle of the season. You made the playoffs, but it didn't have to be that damn hard to be a quarterback in Pittsburgh. Like, it didn't have to be that damn hard. And as much as the Steelers, I could have won defense. I don't trust Dante Jackson to be healthy for the entire fucking year. Who the fuck does?
Right.
Just who the fuck does? Just at this point in his career, Casey Hayward is getting up there in age. We don't know how long he's going to be doing this. I could have went with the kid from Illinois, but I'm looking at this offensive line. I'm saying to myself, it's still a work in fucking progress. It doesn't matter who becomes the quarterback. That offensive line still sucks. It's not good. I know you got Broderick Jones last year, and that's great. I could have went with Alabama, but I was just like, I think they need a guard. They need somebody they can also kick out at some point to be a tackle. And the only one that kind of still is a little bit, versatile and everything is Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. And I was like, why not? Just let's see what that looks like. And I think that if you're Pittsburgh, it doesn't hurt you.
It absolutely doesn't hurt Pittsburgh. Absolutely not. Well, I like the pick because I took him yesterday. But he's playing for the division rival Cincinnati, so I can't take him here in Pittsburgh. However, I was in a limbo too when I was looking at the Steelers, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, could they go another corner? Could they go wide receiver? Could they draft defensive tackle as a luxury pick and take the kid from Illinois just to get him prepped up for when Cam Hayward does finally step down? But then I agreed with you. I agree with you 100%. That offensive line, listen, you made it. You made it to the playoffs, but eventually bad offensive line play eventually catches up to you. And I don't think Pittsburgh can afford that, especially when you have two quarterbacks that are only on 1-year deals to kind of prove it. You want to try to give them a shot to see what they can do for you. Because then if not, you still get your offensive lineman, but you just have to worry about quarterback next year. So I like the Tyler Guyton pick. It's just unfortunately for me, he's gone. So I went another route. Whoops. I went another route. Whoopsie. Sorry. I went another route with this one. So with the 20th pick in this year's 2024 NFL Draft, I selected Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon. Yep. Listen, I have no problem with this. I have no problem with offensive line, and no problem. We'll be right here, Amp, whenever you're ready. I have no problem offensive lineman here. And I truly believe if Pittsburgh wants to get back to what they were as dominant, they need a center. They need a true bona fide stud at center. And listen, people want to talk about, well, they went emotional and try to replace them, Big Ben. They haven't done anything to try to replace Marcus Pouncey.
Yeah.
Now, here's a good thing. You don't have to trade up for him. He fell in your lap in my world. He fell straight on your lap. This kid from Oregon, 6'3", 320 pounds. Unanimous All-American and first-team All-Pac-12 in 2023. Also won the Remington Trophy, given to the best center in the nation. That's who you're drafting. And if you saw him at the Senior Bowl, you know how dominant he looked. He dominated so much that the staff told him, you got nothing to prove by playing in this game. Sit your ass out. You are the number one center in this year's NFL draft. Now, is he as good as Tyler Linderbaum and some other guys that probably come out? Probably not. But he's damn close. He's damn close. I think if Pittsburgh were to pull this, if they were to able to get this kid from Oregon, if the quarterback thing doesn't work out, that's one thing. But at least you got your center, your elite center, for a very long time. And I know the Eagle fans are going to kill me because it's like we were 2 picks away from trying to get the fucking center replacement. Sorry, man. Not happening here. Not happening. Besides, Philadelphia, you have way other problems than just the center retiring. But anyway, we'll get to that later. To me, Jackson Powers Johnson, the new Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think Steeler country would love him. I think, I know the size could be a little jarring. Do you really want a 6'3" center? Listen, Some of the best centers I've seen in my lifetime. Ronnie Hudson was only 6'1". A lot of these centers that were Jason Kelsey was 6'1". A lot of these, it's not about the size. It's about the instinct. And this kid's got the instinct to play center. So I like this kid for Pittsburgh. I think, and then it'll also help with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, obviously, but at least you want to give your quarterback some time. Now you have 3 out of the 5 that you can work with. So I'm gonna go with the kid from Oregon here at number 20. That's my pick.
Oregon offensive line, a lot of people don't know, was really good this past year.
Yep.
You get for Bo Nix to have almost over 5,000 yards passing, he had to have time.
Oh, and did he ever?
And boy, did they good fucking luck with that, because you could not get to him, and that center was one of the reasons he would actually. And for Pittsburgh, you need that. A lot of people, like you said, a lot of people talk about how they needed to replace Big Ben. They've never replaced Pouncey, really. And people forget Pouncey was retired the same year as Big Ben.
No, he retired a year earlier.
The year before. And they were just like, they've never replaced Pouncey, which is the reason why that offensive line has struggled so much, because.
No, I'm not saying he's going to come in and be the next Marquise Pouncey. He's still going to be a rookie. But you can at least go to the fact that he can actually play fucking center. So take it for what you want. Take it for what you want. So just to recap, Brandon went with Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. I took Jackson Power Johnson, the center out of Oregon. So we both went offensive line. So not the same guy, but at least we're thinking the same idea, for Pittsburgh. At least we're thinking the same idea here. So let's see how we do with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are now on the clock here. After finishing 11-6, they earned the 21st pick after having the second best offense in the NFL. Number two.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yes, second best offense. That defense, however, number 22. 22 defense. 22nd defense. It just never panned out, man. It just never panned out, man.
Hey, you had an amazing offense. Your defense.
Miami can score at will. Your defense can't stop a nosebleed. Unless you play Denver every week, then you should be fine.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah.
Now Tua having a very, very great year. It just one little problem. He threw for 4,624 yards, 29 touchdowns. You think, hey, all right. His interception is 14. It went double again. It went to double digits again. And, and I think this is, people always ask, what's the holdup with the contract situation with Tua? Well,
you want to tell him or should I tell him?
I think you could tell. You could tell him. You could tell him.
They don't trust him. They're not committed to him.
And I think that's the thing. It's just you can't have all these weapons at your disposal, having the second best offense, but still turning the ball over 14 times. And that's just through the air. I like Tua. I really do. I just think that maybe we have to have a harder look of how much trust do you have in him? What is a contract negotiation for Tua? What is it? Because we're getting to a point now where, hey man, this is it. After this, we either give you a long-term contract or we tag you. We're not going to just let you go.
I want people to understand something. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert have already been paid and extended. Those teams said, yep, we got our franchise guy. The quarterback in the middle of those two is Tua, and he has not been paid yet. What the fuck does that tell you?
I think it's a little concerning to me because I don't think everything is on Tua. I don't think everything is on Tua.
But
Because remember, some of them, like Patrick Mahomes, some of those throws did get tipped off and it fell into the wrong hands. But it's the fact that we're still talking about it after 4 years. I think that's the scary part, right? I think that's the part. It's like, if that part can get better, then I don't think they would have hesitated giving Tua a long-term deal.
Tua has been in the league, and he's had more career success than Justin Herbert. And the Chargers saw Justin Herbert was like, we gotta lock this up right now.
That must be the killer right there for Tua.
Like, Justin Herbert hasn't been in the playoffs yet. Well, yeah, yes, one time. Tua's been in the playoffs a little bit more. Nope, Tua's only been in the playoffs once. He's only played once in the playoffs, I should say.
Yes.
So it feels like, what the fuck is wrong with the Miami Dolphins?
Is there a disconnect? Is there maybe a there? I'm sure there has to be a discussion of a middle ground, right? Because the thing is this: whenever a player of your position gets paid, you want to try to get something into similar. The problem is Tua something in that similar range of quarterback contracts? Is he in the range of a Lamar Jackson? Is he in the range of a Jalen Hurts? Is he in the range of a Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert? Is he in that range? Today, I say no. Today, I say he's in the range of a Kirk Cousins. Maybe not, maybe you're not worth 50 to 60 million, but I'll give you 35 million. But into today's NFL society, that's a slap to the face.
First of all, nobody is worth Kirk Cousins' contract. What the fuck? Kirk Cousins' agent is gotta come on.
I'm not saying like the full guarantee, but I'm looking at numbers. Like, we're looking anywhere between 35 to 40, and that's it.
Kirk Cousins' agent has gotta come on alive.
I will say this: he has to make more than Daniel Jones. That's the starting point. You have to make more than Daniel Jones. That's the fucking starting point. The starting point for me is I gotta make more than that motherfucker.
Daniel Jones still higher paid than me. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god!
I can understand the fact that I'm not higher paid than Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Lamar. I get that, but if I'm not getting more money than Daniel fucking Jones,
you get $2 million less than Daniel Jones. It tells you more about yourself than the fucking team. I swear, that just like, what the. Really? Like, 35 million guys? What the fuck is going on?
Now, I will say this. For this incredible offense, I mean, look at this. Raheem Mostert leaves San Francisco. Don't know if he'll go back to what he was. Ends up with 1,012 yards with 18 rushing touchdowns. 18. In a league that's all passing.
Unheard of. It's very unheard of.
18 rushing touchdowns in a league that's all passing. Then you get Tyreek Hill, 119 receptions, 1,799 yards, 13 touchdowns. Obviously, the offense had no problem. And then you look at the defense. David Long, 113 combined tackles. Jalen Ramsey, who only played for half the season because due to injury, he still led the team in interceptions with 3. And Bradley Chubb, unfortunately, his season was cut short, but still left the team with 11 sacks. Above all else, this is why I felt the Miami Dolphins should have won the AFC East last year. They didn't have the most talented defense, but I figured they could do enough while the offense can. And clearly, having the second best offense was still not enough to win the AFC East. Then we get into free agency. You lose Robert Hunt to the Panthers. You lose Brandon Jones to the Denver Broncos. You lose Raekwon Davis to the Indianapolis Colts. You lose Jerome Baker to the Seattle Seahawks. You lose Christian Wilkins to the Las Vegas Raiders. Why? Why did you allow this to happen, Miami? You might not have believed in Tua, But god damn it, you should have at least tried to keep the names I just said. All key pieces to your defense. That was not that good to begin with. He's coming here. Kendall Fuller from Washington? Hey! I mean, yeah, he had a terrible year last year with Washington, but that was more Washington than it was him. Shaquille Barrett, who's been a Tampa Bay favorite for a long time, he's now going to be coming here. Anthony Walker, part of that Cleveland defense last year, he's not going to be coming here. But Brandon, I have to ask you, did the Miami Dolphins do enough? Or did Buffalo save the Miami Dolphins today from trading away Stephon Diggs?
Do I think Miami did enough? Depends on who you ask. They got also Joey Porter from the Buffalo Bills, so they even make it even worse. Now you got to play a son bitch with no receivers. This shit is just that is so stupid. What were they thinking? Like, just oh my god. Listen, Miami. We knew all Miami's offense was going to be good. We're not stupid. We knew it was going to be good, especially if Tua was healthy, which for most of the season he was. He was upright. But the defense was what it's shocking that the Miami defense sucked that bad with Big Fangio. It's shocking, man. Like they were that bad with Big Fangio. What the fuck? Like what were you doing? Yeah. Miami. You gotta ask yourself with Jalen Ramsey, is he still a guy? I know you drafted Cam Smith last year for South Carolina. Is he a nickel? Is he a two? Who knows? We don't know. And the players you replaced and you brought in, yeah, Bradley Chubb should be back to normal. Jalen Phillips as well, who is your pass rushers, and you've been waiting to get them. You know, got injured before you could even get in the playoffs. They got injured. So if this team stays healthy defensively, I think they go up a bit, uptick defensively, but it still will rely on that offense. I don't think they're going to score 70 fucking points again. I mean, well, I don't say never. I don't fucking know, depending on if they play Denver again this year.
And you know what? I usually say, man, that's an anomaly. It can't happen again, but the way Denver's been handling free agency this year, you know what? It's not so much that Miami can score 70. I just don't think Denver can score 20 again.
Denver might keep the ball off, and that would be the only time they get some special teams. Like, this shit is ridiculous. That would be the only time they get special teams. Like, this is, oh, man. They play Denver again. I'm just like, yeah. So I'm putting all Miami offense in. Miami offense.
You know it's bad when like majority of the starters had 30 plus points. Almost every starter.
Yo, when you said Raheem Mostert had 18 touchdowns, I'm like, shit, 8 of them came in that game. I'm pretty sure 8 touchdowns came in that game alone.
I'm gonna look at that stat line against the Denver Broncos because I'm pretty confident. I can say with confidence. Like Raheem Mostert at least had 4 touchdowns that game. Like, I'm pretty damn confident. Like, and it could be 3 rushing, 1 receiving. I don't fucking care. I think half of his touchdowns came against the Denver Broncos.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It happened. Yeah, it happened. Listen, Miami is such a you don't know team. The AFC East is so bad, they might win by default.
Last night, the Buffalo Bills were winning the AFC East by default. Now, we don't know.
And then when we said Buffalo might win this shit by default, then today happened, and we're like, oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. I just think there's a lot to it. I think there has to be some sort of method of what the Miami Dolphins are doing, right? Because obviously we could sit here and be like, oh, okay, maybe you didn't have enough money for Robert Hunt, but to let Christian Wilkins go, Or maybe you didn't have a lot of money for Christian Wilkins. But to let Robert Hunt go, like, it sucks because it's just one of those things. And I get it. There's going to be some Dolphin fans that are going to watch this and be like, well, Robert Hunt and Christian Wilkins never made the Pro Bowl. If anything, Carolina and the Raiders overpaid for that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they did. But the fact that you let him go for nothing.
Which they were over the cap, and I get it. So you kind of had to.
You can figure it out. Come on, Brandon.
You could have restructured some deals. You could have figured it out.
You could have said Tyreek Hill, hey, man. I know you had a badass year, but restructure, please. We need to keep some pieces. So to me, I think, if anything, and this is my final word for Miami before we move on to their pick, I think for me, when it comes to this type of structure for the Miami Dolphins, I don't know what to expect this year from the AFC East. But the fact that Miami and Buffalo, the fact that the Jets might have a shot to win the AFC East, and it's because
In the Patriots, that shit's
like, here's the thing. The AFC East this year is going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to see how we do on our prediction show for this. Like, I can't wait to have our prediction show.
I did not expect the AFC East to turn to the NFC South. That shit's disturbing. I did not expect it.
It went south. It went south fast.
I did not expect the AFC East to turn to the NFC South. I didn't expect it, but it happened. It happened right in front of our eyes.
It happened. It happened in a moment. So it happens. But here we go. All right, Brandon. Here we go. So it's draft time, pick time. So Brandon, who do you have the Miami Dolphins selecting in this year's draft?
All right. For the 21st pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins will select Jason Lathan, offensive tackle, Alabama. I do not trust Miami's offensive line. I don't give a shit who they put on that offensive line. I do not trust it. Same thing with Pittsburgh. Same thing with Cincinnati. I don't trust that offensive line. I'm sorry. I just don't trust it. Teron Armstead, who you bought in last year, played, 6 games? And that
something like that, yeah.
And that might be lowballing me. I don't know what Jason Lathan is going to be when he gets to Miami, but he's better than what the fuck you got. I tell you that. He's better than what the fuck you got. I tell you that. You can figure it out when he get there, but you need to protect Tua. That is the key point of that offense. Because the moment he goes down, it don't matter if he restructures his contract. Your offense ain't going no fucking where. You re-signed Raheem Mostert just recently, gave him an extension. Great. I actually think the rookie running back that you drafted last year is actually better for your offense. That's just me. I mean, But this team in Miami, man, they need a lot of shit. Their defense is just as bad as their offense. I know if that offense is in tip-top shape, then great. But the one problem with Miami has always been the offensive line. They can't figure it out. Same thing with Cincinnati. Same thing with Pittsburgh. They can't figure it out. I don't know if Jason Lathan is going to come in and be the top-tier offensive lineman for you. I don't know. What I do know is you got to fix that offensive line. That defense, as good as that defense or bad as that defense is, you can always find a way to kind of play around it. Your whole team's identity is offense. That is your team's identity, offense. So if you can't get that right, it doesn't matter how many 1,000-yard seasons Tyreek Hill has and Tua has 5,000-yard passing years and all that. You're not going nowhere. Even if you win the AFC East this year, you're going to go back in the snow and lose to Kansas City. You're going to go to Buffalo.
Well, they'll host the playoff game,
Oh, yeah, you're going to host the playoff game and get their ass beat by Pittsburgh. Congratulations. It's just, you're going to host the playoff game and get destroyed by Baltimore. What you freaking do? It's just But you gotta figure that out. And that offensive line of Miami has always been their Achilles heel when it comes to the offense. It has always been. So I don't know if J.C. Latham can come in and be that guy, because a lot of people don't expect that to be that way. But if Miami can at least bring him in and see what happens, you got something. And no matter what happens with Tua, at least you got an offensive line you trust now.
Yeah. I like it. But unfortunately for me, J.C. Latham went a while ago. So
yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone off the board. Yeah, for you. Yeah.
He gone.
He gone.
Like long gone.
He already got his name placement on the locker room door. And, yeah.
He's gone, bro. He's gone. And there's no looking back. I looked at the offensive line for Miami too. I did, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, this is it. I gotta give him. I thought about giving him something. To me, it's corner, offensive lineman. Then I saw something.
I look at that cornerback. I'm like, God damn, they have no corner.
I thought about Quayon Mitchell here.
I did too. I was like, yo.
I'm like, I thought about it too. Oh, we'll comment here, Jack. Thank you again for the support, man. Thank you for showing out all the time, man. Thank you so much. Then I looked at another room. This is the first time I'm going to get greedy during this draft process. The first time I'm going to get greedy. Yeah, I know the defense needs help. But and I know the offensive line needs help. But Brandon, when I tell you, I want to get greedy here for the Miami Dolphins.
Get greedy.
I'm going to get greedy here for the Miami Dolphins because it was so hard for me to pass this name up. So hard that it's like, nah, the Miami Dolphins need his services. So, with the 21st pick in this year's 2024 NFL Draft, oh, you're going to laugh at this. Oh, you're going to like this. The Miami Dolphins select Brock Bowers, tight end, Georgia. Yeah, I went greedy. I got greedy. That's right. Brock Bowers. I'm going to give another weapon to Tua. I'm going to give him another pass catcher.
All right, Buffalo. I see how you're moving there.
Yes, I'm going to give the Miami Dolphins the best tight end in this draft class. Brock Bowers, 6'4", 240 pounds. Two-time John Mackey Award winner, given to the best tight end in the nation, 22 and 23. Unanimous All-American in 2023. First-team All-American in 2022. Second-team All-American in 2021. Three-time first-team All-SEC 21 and 23. You know how hard it is to be a three-time first time from your junior year from your freshman year to your junior year? You know how hard that is to do? And lastly, two-time national football champion in 21 and 22. Now, his numbers this year were a little bit low. 56 receptions, 714 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But a lot changed. There was the injury. But here's the thing. When he came back, he looked great. I wanted to get greedy for Miami here because I don't think they can go a season with Jonnu Smith as your starting tight end.
We don't know that.
I know.
We don't know.
I know that.
Hey, man, can pull it off.
I know that. And for me, I just wanted to get greedy here because I saw it. I saw the opportunity and I said, man, Brock Bowers is still here for me. If not here, then when? When will he get drafted? Because at this point, he's in danger of slipping out of the first round entirely.
Well, for you.
For me. I just couldn't let that happen. And I know, Dolphin fans, I get it. We don't need a tight end. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Not because of the services. Nah, not even that. It's more the fact you gave Tua another weapon and he still can't get it done for you. At least you'll know you'll have Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Browers for at least 3 seasons. If you can't win this division with that lineup, those pass catchers, with that running game, maybe the answer to our question earlier is what is wrong of Miami trying to give a contract extension to Tua? Well, there you go. I solved it for you guys. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia, is going to be a Miami Dolphin to be another pass catcher and run blocker as well. A little help in the run game, too. I had to get greedy, man. It was time for me to get greedy. Brock Bowers, tight end, Georgia.
Understandable. I get it. I took him 11 picks ago. I get it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I took him with the Jets, which makes now that pick look a little. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand Brock Bowers. Yeah, that definitely fits. I mean, Miami definitely needs a tight end because, like you said, they're not rolling in the season with Juju Smith as the freaking tight end. That just we've seen enough of him to know he's not that guy. We've seen enough to know
he's good, but he's not like
yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, for what Miami is, listen. One thing we do know is they need offense.
Which is very sad because they finished number 2 overall.
It's so fucking that is crazy that we're sitting up here saying you still need offense.
More, motherfucker, more.
No more fire on the goddamn flame. Get it going, shit.
We need it all, damn it. And to me, it was just so hard to pass up because, yeah, Mitchell's there. I get it. But damn, Brock Bowers in Miami Dolphins uniform with the Mike McDonald offense. There's your George Kittle, motherfucker. Make it work.
I saw the defense of Miami. I'm like, God damn, they need a cornerback. I was like, God damn, they need a cornerback.
And then you looked up the depth chart and you're like, but God damn, that old line.
Yeah, I was like, shit, this offensive line sucks. It's still bad. It don't make no sense. It just, man. Yeah, but Miami definitely needs a fucking cornerback. If they can find a way to get a higher second round pick, yeah, I would definitely try to go get Cooper DeJean, somebody, because you're gonna need him. You're gonna definitely need him in that AFC lease, because that's what the fuck it is now. The AFC lease.
I'm telling you. So just to recap and everything, I mean, like I said, I like the J.C. Latham pick too. It's just I've had him at 10. I think I had him at 10. Yeah, I had him at 10. And so we just flipped our picks. We're just like you like Brock Bowers like that? You like J.C. Latham like that? I'm like, damn. Like you like so we got it right. We're just 11 picks off. That's it. We're just 6 episodes off. No biggie. We're fine. No biggie.
But here's the thing. Clearly they're going to be in the AFC East.
Like, clearly we believe they will be in the AFC East. We just don't know where, motherfucker. Like, Brock Bowers is like, come on, Miami. J.C. Latham's like, come on, Miami. Come on. And Miami. Yes. Like, yes. You know, because I do not want to deal with that winter either. I get it. So, no, but I will say this. I will say this. It's funny that we think offense for Miami, even though they're the number 2 offense statistically in the NFL last year. But I just think it has to happen. And the thing is, whether it is an offensive lineman, whether it is Brock Bowers in this case, if at this point Tua can't win the AFC East at this point, with now Buffalo saying we'll even make it easier for you, then I think there's no question that, hey, we'll give you a contract extension, but it's not the numbers you're looking for. And I think that's the hard part. So This is going to be good now. Now we're getting good. So just to recap for the Steelers, Brendan went Tyler Guyton. I went Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon. For the Dolphins, he went with J.C. Latham. I went with Brock Bowers. So it's kind of funny because on the Steelers, we went offensive line, not the same conference. On the Dolphins, we went on the same conference. So it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny. So that'll do it today, folks. We will be back Sunday. We are off the next 3 days. We will be back Sunday. The Eagles are on the clock at number 22, and I think this is going to be a team that's going to be interesting to talk about, from looking like one of the most elite teams in the NFL to the downfall. I think is more eyeballing than the dominance that they had the first 11 weeks of the season, 12 weeks of the season. The downfall of them, I think, it's gonna be something to talk about, and I can't wait to get into the discussion of that. So, Brandon, as always, my man, it's awesome talking to you, my man. I shall see you on Sunday. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on Sunday. So enjoy your time, enjoy everything. We will put out a time for you when we will be back on Sunday. Until then, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. We will see you guys on Sunday. Peace.